What's up, guys? If you caught my last video, you know that I just swapped the springs out on this Golf R, and as I mentioned in that video, you do need to replace some of the hardware when you do that job. Some of the bolts are torque to yield bolts, or they're more commonly known as stretch bolts, where the bolts are actually elongated when you torque them to spec. So they need to be replaced every time you remove them. I didn't have the hardware last week. I actually ordered a spring installation kit from Deutsche Auto Parts. So I'm gonna open that up, go over what's included in that kit, and then we'll install it on the vehicle. Okay, so let's open this up. Not expecting this. Thanks, Paul, appreciate that. You got a snapback hat, some koozies, some Fun Dip. There you go. This is awesome. I really do appreciate that. So then, obviously this isn't part of this job. The Mark V Jetta that we've got, somehow the antenna broke, so I'll be installing this in another video. But here's everything that you need for the installation. Okay, so this is the contents of the spring installation kit. You've got what I believe to be the bolts for the lower control arm. So apparently I was quite confused on what actually comes in this kit. In the top bag right here, we've got 6 16mm nuts for the ball joints. We also have 6 13mm bolts for the top of the strut. In the bag next to it, we've got various nuts, 2 for the end links, 2 for the pinch bolts, and 2 for the rear. Underneath that, we've got a bag of identical triple square bolts. These fasten the interior CV joint to the transaxle. We didn't remove those in the previous video, so I'm not going to mess with those. As for the last 2 bags, there are 8 bolts remaining. 2 of them are triple square bolts. Those are the pinch bolts. The remaining 6 bolts I'm still unsure of. 2 of those are for the rear that connect the lower control arm to the rear hub, but I'm still unsure what the last 4 bolts are for. So I am going to clarify that with Paul over at Deutsche Auto Parts, and I'll give you guys an update once I know what they're for. All right, we've got the wheels off, and just to refresh your memory, I'm going to go around and show you what I'm going to be taking off and replacing. So if you look up here, there's a nut right here that holds this end link. Place that, this M14 triple square pinch bolt and nut over here. I'll be replacing that down underneath the car. I'm not going to have to replace these because if you remember, I replaced this ball joint. This is brand new hardware, so this isn't going to have to be replaced, but it will have to be replaced over here on the other side, and you can't see it. Up here, the 3 top hat bolts up here are gonna have to be replaced, and then the nut and bolt right here will have to be replaced. So since you've already seen me put this back together, I'm gonna go ahead and swap all of this hardware out, and then I'll go through each piece and the torque specs when I'm done. So I'll see you right now. Okay, so I just put the new pinch bolt, can't really see it on this side, but right here, put this in. The torque spec for that is 70 Newton meters plus 90 degrees additional turn. Just installed the strut tower bolts, the 13mm right here. The torque spec is 15 Newton meters and then plus 90 degrees additional turn. So the last bolt you got to replace is this one back here. This one will be 180 Newton meters plus a half turn. That's pretty much it. I want to thank Paul over at Deutsche Auto Parts for hooking me up with the hat and the koozies. Thanks for helping me out figuring out what bolts I need. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to this channel. Check out my other social media pages in the description below. I'll also include all the torque specs in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.